And this isn't pansy pandering either. I'm talking about having the cojones as a man to look at another man who's younger and love him where he stands no matter what. And if I can't find something, I need to dig deeper into why I have an inability to look at God's creatures and love them. That is the issue. That's the matter. It's not these generations are different. It's just that the generations prior to them are bitter. Ouch, you know? That hurt to hear. I'm having trouble, like, putting this through my head. Here's a quote. I want you to tell me who said it. This is for real. The children now love luxury. They have bad manners, contempt for authority. They show disrespect for elders and love chatter in place of exercise. Children are now tyrants. They no longer rise when elders enter the room. Oh my gosh! Who would come out and say such a thing and speak of these times? Who said it? Socrates said that. This ain't nothing new, man. So, I look at you one way, you look at me in another. I'm saying respectively, we're in a different generation. But you see me right now, right? I got this on, and I did think it's kind of cool putting the camera this way because I look like a stormtrooper. If you see trees or whatever, you know, you can't really see what I'm looking at, which kind of defeats the purpose a little bit. I'm going to actually start having anyway, so, but for this one, I wanted to keep it this way one more time because I want you to see me. You know, I want you to see me for what I am and what I'm framed by. So, I got this, you know, I got a green shirt, I got whatever I got behind me. And I would imagine if you're watching this, you're whatever it is behind you. Let's say you're at a desktop, and so I would see behind you that you have. Oh, hey, man, pay attention, lady. Come on. You're going to kill a man. Man, that was close. That lady literally almost ran right into me. I like my legs in one piece, except for the bones that are separate by joints and all that. I prefer they stay separate in the ways that they are. And then that way I can still walk. Because if it was all one piece, you'd really have a sort of an awkward canter, I'd imagine. Running would be difficult. So you see me for what I am, I see you for what you are. But I think what has happened, here's the thing, man. Here's how I know this is right. You see me by what I'm framed by. You know? You see what's behind me. You see what I opted to frame myself in for this communication, and the same for you. For you, when I was sitting across talking to each other, you might see the brick wall I'm sitting up against, and I might see the tree in the car you're sitting by. And we got to be really careful that we don't let those circumstances come in to play, you know, because I need you to see me. I do, because I don't always place myself in the best circumstances. You know, I'm not omniscient. I don't have a great, always have the perfect series of decisions that lead to where I want to be. So don't look at me for my. I'm not saying don't hold people accountable for where they're at. It's not that. And get off that idea, because this isn't about division. This is about complete connection. And you're going to see that what I have to say is powerful, and I think it's going to change your life like it's changing mine this morning. And it's not just some idea either. It's not just going to be this obscure point. It adds up to everything I believe in and every school I believe in too. So it's just kind of bizarre, man. I'm freaking out a little bit still about it. If you love me, see me for who I am and what I'm presenting to you at the moment. You know, like what I'm saying. Don't look at what's behind me. Don't look what's all around me. I don't always make the best decisions. And here's the deal. I won't to you either. You know how the Gen X might look at the millennial and think these things or say these things and judge them. And it's easy. And you see it so much, man. People love controversy because it frames something for them that they can focus on that frankly wouldn't need to be done if they really loved themselves and believed in themselves and believed in all the positions they were in. People wouldn't need controversy because they would come from a place of love. I believe if you loved you completely, you wouldn't need to see what you hate about me, you know, and vice versa. And so, and these generational gaps are the easiest place to do that. And I see these generations come out so differently, and I have to think, you know, oh, you know, and I have believed this, and I'm so sorry. I keep thinking these generations that come out are more screwed up, more screwed up, more screwed up. God's sovereign, right? And so He raises people up for a time such as this. And it's for different reasons, I'm sure. You know, I don't understand His ways. But one of them I'm suggesting is that two I will suggest. One I want to talk about. One I will suggest you do this is what you will. God raises people up for a time such as this, and has people in circumstances through which they find themselves in for a time such as this. And so when you talk about this 25-year gap in these generations, these 20-year gaps, or whatever they are, there's a big potential for a big difference. And if all things are being turned for good, then there is a purpose. And we have to subscribe a purpose to this difference in generations. And we've got to stop beating the other ones up, because that's half the problem. And that's the one I want to talk about, is the simple idea, man. Think about this, that God has raised these people up for a time such as this, right? And so maybe one of those reasons is to rectify the mistakes of your generation. So, but instead of facing those things and looking at these generations and going, oh, wow, you know, yeah, I see 9 things wrong, but I see 11 that are beautiful. And so instead, we focus on these 9 because life is hard with these bad things, and we focus on these things that, you know, do it my way. You know, when I was young, we had to walk up the hill both ways to school in the snow, and we didn't even have feet back then. We just walked on little bloody nubs. That doesn't lift anyone or make anyone want to walk to school. Just FYI. What makes them want to walk to school is, man, you guys have an incredible opportunity at this time. I wish we had that. We didn't. You know, we had all kind of things that were good, but what you guys have are good are this, right? And this isn't pansy pandering either. I'm talking about having the cojones as a man to look at another man who's younger and love him where he stands no matter what. And if I can't find something, I need to dig deeper into why I have an inability to look at God's creatures and love them. That is the issue. That's the matter. It's not these generations are different. It's just that the generations prior to them are bitter. Ouch, you know? That hurt to hear. I'm having trouble, like, putting this through my head. Because I've done it. You know, if you guys would just, and you guys would just, and you got it this way, and you got it that way. You don't want to hear that crap. Nobody does. And people have been doing it forever, except the people who figured it out. You know? Look at Paul. He goes to one of these temples, and there's these statues, and you can figure out the scripture for yourself. Google it. That's another thing, you know. Part of the generation, they're pretty kick booty. And everybody's like, oh, don't read their statues. Don't look at their statues and be tainted. Paul's like, what? Got your mind. Paul goes over there and reads every one of them and then identifies to every one of those people through their own words and through their own position, through their background. Paul was willing to see life through them. Think about that, man. I mean, it brings me to tears. Think about it. Think about what I'm saying. Paul said, where are you at, man? Where you stand? What you thinking about? What you believe in? I want to know so that I can add to it. And let the cards fall where they will. Let the cards fall where they will at that point. You know? He believed in his Jesus, and that's what he was there for, but he found them. He found where they were at, wanted to be a part of it, wanted to talk to them. And man, there is so much power in that, and I'll preach it forever. But I'm telling you, I've been saying that stuff for a long time. But not like Not like I know of it now. Not even close. I'd be a liar if I said I would. I was trying to find out what's wrong with all you guys so that I could cure you. I could provide the elixir that would pull you from your leprosy. No, I never felt like that. But you know what I'm saying. It wasn't from a place always of just saying, man, what can I pull from this? What can I pull from this new identity that threatens me? You know, like that's what it is. These generations are threatened by the next they don't understand. Well, here's the deal. Every generation is raised in a different time. Socially, economically, there's all these circumstances that lend itself to the next generation being different. And I believe that God in those places is not only doing what the world needs, but he is in a process of rectifying the prior generation. And I'll give you an example. The millennial generation is the most empathetic generation there is. They care. You know, what it is, you think, well, oh, social justice warriors and all these things. I understand that, and I believe everybody takes everything to these extremes that just get ugly. You know, like if two people fighting out in the street, 2,000 people fighting out in the streets, something's wrong. You know, I'm not speaking to that. I'm talking about the neighbor. They have a deeper empathy than our generation, and we had a deeper empathy than the one before that. And so we're all thinking, oh, you just want to just support things you don't even know what they are, and by God, my generation, you hunkered down, you did this, you did that. Well, maybe that's why God added an extra dose of empathy, because your generation was nutty in another way, right? And so what we do, and that doesn't say, I'm even doing it right now. I'm speaking against my own generation negatively. Man, we've got to stop this indoctrination. We have got to stop it. What I'm saying is God is good, the world is good, there is good in it, there is greatness in it, and we are too embittered and bullheaded to just stop and go, well, maybe I'll look at that. Maybe I'll look at those things that are truly good, kind, noteworthy, praiseworthy, all these things that are of good report in the generations beneath us. Man, seek one, they're not stupid. None of us are stupid. And you guys, looking from the millennial direction, back at, and let's say I've been talking for me, trying to picture where you're at, and trying to see the value in that. And this is, from any generation to the next. I'm not speaking just Gen X versus millennial, but when you are a millennial, you're looking back at me. Man, don't hear my ugly stuff. Don't focus on that, please. I don't know what I'm doing all the time. Even if I scream it from the rooftops that I'm right. Therein lies your challenge. Truly use that empathy and see through that and see the value in who I am and speak to those things. Even if you don't see them, speak to those things that aren't, so that they can become. Your words matter. My words matter. Everything I say to you, and every bit of little stumbling block I put out there, like, these kids today, blah. Those words matter because they give keys, they give invitations, they have welcoming, they create these welcoming parties in people's minds that, the problem can't be me, it's got to be them. So let's focus on these 9 things that are wrong, and guess what? Another generation is thrown into the same turmoil and chaos. Nobody wins, and it's just ain't the way of the ninja, man. I guarantee you that if you would frame me from my position and look at my background and look at everything that I am and come at me in a place of love, that I would come after you in the same place in love and try to see everything that you are. And so we have got to be the people that start doing that, because this world is set up as such that it's just so first bent on defense and offense and all these things that everybody's just looking for what they don't like and focusing on it, and half of it, man, or even more than half of it, comes from a place of good intention. It does. Like, it This old man says to me, you know, in a previous generation, you know, I've worked 10 years from my living room supporting my kid, you know, as a graphic designer, and people like mock that. You know, I have people call me, and those of you that call me that, I'm not calling you out, I promise you that. But you know, my pajama career and all these words, and it's big deal, right? I'm pretty tough skinned in a way, so a lot of that stuff just blows off, and I know people saying it love me to death, and it's coming from a place of them really wanting to help me. Like you're saying, hey, you know, if you would just do it the way I do it, you would be better off, and I love and care about you. So I'm just trying to say what I understand to say to you, and you know, so you know, I'm gonna make a joke about it here and there, but it's to the right effect, and how we might say to our kids, you know, if you guys would just release your grip from these tenets of your generation and do the things way we did it. Look at some of the successes we've had, when they're looking at us going, I don't want to be who you are. So why would I do those things? I don't fully subscribe to the way you are, because I've seen a lot of your faults and a lot of your stuff. And why do they do that? Because we're looking at their faults and bringing them out and lovingly offering solutions, but at the end of the day, we're looking at faults. And I'm not talking about, I still disagree with the whole give everybody a trophy thing, so I'm not even saying that. You know, I'm saying, again, don't judge me. That's just the thing I have, so whatever it is, you know. But if they are looking at our faults, so they don't want to be like us, because we have taught them to look at the faults. If I taught them always to look at everything beautiful, they would be looking at everything beautiful and want to be like me. And guess what? And if that were the case, then generations would begin to heal, because people would begin to relate and begin to focus on these things that are good and pure and just and noteworthy and praiseworthy, and there would be evidence of it in society all throughout, and these generations wouldn't be so different, and God wouldn't have to make these radical adjustments that he has to make with each generation to provide the contrast and provide the things from which for us to learn from in these situations that we have to learn from. Because when you, as you know, when you pray for patience, you don't get patience, man. You get a reason to be patient, because God isn't in that business of offering counterfeits. He doesn't offer, he's not going to offer us this small idea of what we have, like, oh, okay, all of a sudden I can be patient, but there's no depth to that. The depth is in you don't get abs from pills. You get abs from sit-ups, you know? And that's the way it is, and that's what God's way, and that's the way he works it. He's like, oh, you want abs? You're gonna burn. I'm gonna burn some things in you. You're gonna learn to do sit-ups and how much they hurt, and same with your patience. I know you need patience, and I know you want patience, and I know now that you identify that I can give that to you, but I'm not going to give it to you in this way that's just cheap and small, because what I have for you is a goal that is a life that's less spotless, and it's more a true goal, and it has more value. And so these generations come out, and they're different. And they by that token, and again, I'm reaching a little bit, I get it, correct me, dial me in, tune me right, share what you know about that, because this is a new idea to me, and I'm kind of freaking out about it a little bit like this, because I've been an ass, not in a big way, but to me, really, I could be a lot more, I'm not talking about compassionate in a way that's weak. I'm talking about I could be a lot more productive with the way I operate with other people, and accepting and identifying that they are different, will always be different, and that in that there is something beautiful, I assure, if I believe that God is in control. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, you tell me, but I am telling you that there's something to what I'm saying. And there's something to taking our eyes off of the ugly and putting it on the good, and then see what God does from there. Something tells me there'll be some changes. So to all you Gen Xers, all you baby boomers, all the millennials, the Gen Zs, and whatever the heck what's going to become next, it breaks my heart, the condemnation that you've all experienced, and I've experienced it just the same. So please, for the love of God, if you take anything away from this, if you think this is psychobabble, you think this is whatever it is, you call it however you might, but I assure you that there is value in looking to the people coming up under you with love and outside of any framework that you understand. If in your mind it paints something, it creates a contrast that is ugly. Just turn away from it. Throw it all away. Love the person and see how that changes them, and then see how that changes generations. That, I just can't see any other way. That's a fact. That's not a fact. But I'm all ears. Story Moto out. Break our hearts for the generations old and new, and vice versa. I know it's your heart. I'm sitting here in a garage, and I'm afraid. My heart's beating. I leave tomorrow, and I lead those in another generation just into this wild. And we don't know what's to come, Lord, but we know what's behind, and we know what you say is in front, and we're going to go in that. And I ask for your strength and provision in Jesus' name. Amen.